We're at 7:51. It's time for News Extra, and today brought to you by First State Bank of Scottsbluff and Gearing. And with our program, here's Kevin Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. A very special guest on News Extra today. We have Nebraska Public Power District CEO Pat Pope here with us. He's in town today for a Lineman Seminar over at the Hampton Inn. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, glad to have you in. First of all, you're here for that Lineman Seminar. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we try to bring all of our line technicians together once a year. It's a good opportunity to sit down with them and give them an overview of what's going on in the industry, talk about some of the challenges we as a company are facing. There's going to be some educational presentations for the guys today. And then it's always great to hear how things are going for them. What are some of the issues they're experiencing? What are the problems? So it's a great communications opportunity.
Yeah, must be very good. All right, we got a lot of things to talk about. First of all, electric rates. You guys, while other people are raising electric rates, you guys have not raised electric rates for 4 years. And maybe even looking at a decrease next year?
We're looking very hard. One of the things that I feel, being a public power utility, and we are owned by our customers, we exist for one reason, and that is to provide reliable, low-cost, high-quality service to our customers. And one of the things that I feel that we have an obligation is to provide those customers with the lowest prices possible. We've been working very hard for the last 4 years. There's been a lot of changes in the industry. Natural gas has become very prolific. Natural gas prices have plummeted. We've seen a lot of wind power coming into the market, and that's lowered prices. Quite frankly, our customers deserve to see the benefits of all those things that are happening in the industry. And so we work very hard to reflect those costs, to reduce other costs. We haven't had a rate increase at the retail level for 4 years, and quite frankly, I am looking at what would it take not only to have a fifth year, but maybe to look at reducing rates. We'll have to see.
That'd be very good. That'd be very good. Of course, Nebraska, the only state that's 100% public power.
We are. We have that distinction, just like we're the only state that has a unicameral legislature.
Yep.
We are the only state that has all public power, and that goes back to the 1930s when the outstate Nebraska area was not getting electrified like people wanted. As we all know today, electricity is a great labor saver. It changed lives, not only for the city dwellers, but for the folks out on the farm. The investor-owned utilities who were operating the system at that time didn't see enough profit potential. So the Nebraska legislature took it upon itself to change the structure of the state and said, you know what, we're going to make this an all-public power state and make sure that everybody in this state gets electricity. And I think we've had very, very good outcomes ever since.
All right, you guys are doing a good job. You guys have a lot of transmission projects going on right now, and that includes the one in our area from Stegall all the way to Scottsbluff. That's going on right now.
We do, and we talk about the reliability component of what's important to our customers, and that's the primary reason a lot of these projects, we've probably got 4 projects going on right now across the state. The one out here, very, very important to us. We also have a 220-mile project from the Sutherland, Nebraska area back east towards the Neely area. The 220-mile one really is an effort in part to help avoid the experiences we had about 10 years ago with the ice storm, where many of our facilities in the what we call the Platte Valley area were brought down by a terrible ice storm, and that crippled us for quite some time. And so having that geographical diversity doesn't guarantee anything, but it can certainly up the odds that you're going to be in better shape. But reliability is paramount. We work very, very hard. We have a very detailed process that we go through when routing transmission lines. There's probably 50 different factors that we're trying to balance, whether it's being close to homes or highways or access. Let's face it, nobody is knocking on my door begging to have a power line in their backyard. We understand that. But by the same token, these things are critical, and we do everything we can to minimize the impact.
All right. We'll take a break, talk more right after this.
It's a brand new year. Make a resolution to protect yourself from identity theft and scams all year long. First State Bank would like to remind everyone that during tax season, scams are much more prevalent. The best way to protect yourself is to stay vigilant and thoroughly think through all telephone interactions and the information you are giving out. What seems like an innocent conversation may not be that at all. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. First State Bank is big on you and helping you avoid costly mistakes. First State Bank, member FDIC.
Back on News Extra, we have the CEO of Nebraska Public Power District, Pat Pope, with us today. Really appreciate the fact he's stopping by here while he's in town. One of the things we want to talk about is this new retail choice on the electric side. Is this something similar to what they're doing on the gas side?
Yeah, if you go back in the early 90s, you saw a wave of deregulation sweep Congress. They deregulated the trucking industry. They deregulated the telephone industry. They deregulated the natural gas industry. They deregulated the airline industry. And then in 1993, they started the electric industry on the path of deregulation. There are some significant differences between the electric industry and the other industries. One of the biggest issues that we have, every kilowatt hour of electricity that our generators produce has to be consumed the instant it is produced. Other than small batteries, we don't have the ability to store our product. We don't have the ability to adjust the capacity like they do in these other markets. And so it is more complicated. But really, retail choice was an attempt to address high electricity rates in other states, many of which were served by investor-owned utilities. We are the only state in the union that is all public power. All of our utilities have a very sharp focus on low costs, not necessarily so in many of the other states. Those folks are wanting to make sure that the investors get dividends, that there's a return on their capital. And so this deregulation wave has started. It's had mixed results. If you go back and you look at the statistics, and I brought one with me, from the period of in 1997 to 2015, we compared those states that had implemented deregulation to the states that have not, and Nebraska is obviously one that has not. The average cost per kilowatt hour for the deregulated states was 4.2 cents. The average cost in the states like Nebraska, the ones that didn't pursue that, 3.6 cents. So it's not yet had the outcome that I think the framers of that legislation had hoped for. And again, I say it's because there are some unique attributes to delivering reliable electricity. And I think Nebraska is very well positioned and very fortunate that our legislatures in the 1930s had the foresight to make us an all-public power state.
All right. Real quick, we had about 45 seconds. This solar project that we did in our community, and I think we filled up all the capacity of that solar project. Yeah. You got to feel pretty good about that.
I do. If we're going to do solar, let's do community solar. Let's take advantage of the economies of scale. The bigger you build a project like that, the lower the cost. Again, it's still the focus on low cost for us. Sure, people can put panels on their houses if they want. Everybody has a passion, but that's not going to be the lowest cost for doing that. And so we were tickled to be able to work with the city. We hope that makes Scottsbluff an even more attractive place for recruiting, industrial development. There are companies that are focused on that, and we're willing to partner and do more.
All right, very good. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Pat.
Appreciate it. Very good. Pat Pope, NPPD CEO, our guest today on News Extra.